everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube. Welcome back if this is your 10th Rookie Season 8 episode review. I want to express, when I made my hiatus announcement, I had no idea how long it was going to take. I really don't know. Let's start with a public reason. I lost my voice. I have had a history of losing my voice on the show. I think there was one episode review infamously where I was on the last gasp of my voice, and then the day afterwards I just lost it. If I remember correctly, if not, I apologize. This was I had an opportunity to record, but I lost my damn voice. So I was like, damn, what is the irony of that? What is the irony? But regardless of that, it was just it was a very frugal matter where I'm still kind of going through a little bit of a coughing stage, so I do apologize if that kind of pops in throughout the episode review. It has just been a long time coming to come back to the Rookie. I've heard many things about the episodes since this came out. I have done my best to kind of been spoiler free, both on the Rookie side of things, both on Madlock. I just wasn't able to do any video work at all, and it was kind of nice, to have a little bit of a break for almost 2 weeks from the video sphere. It was really nice to have a little bit of a real vacation, and hopefully now that we're back, that the episode reviews will come a chunky. I cannot guarantee when future ones will come out. I'm going to do my damn best to catch back up in the next couple of weeks. But again, because of losing my voice, again, I have a whole new job now that is taking priority, and just, again, trying to satisfy every level of my personal life. There will be times going forward where, until the end of the seasons, we are currently we're just in this period of, it will come out when it comes out. And, as soon as I get the right opportunity to do a review, I will. I believe as of today, we're recording this as episode 12 comes out. So we are, I'm aware we are behind. Even if I was on point, I do not have live TV right now at the moment. I'm getting that issue sorted out financially. So that does take some time too. So again, we will be back hopefully to our momentarily scheduled broadcast at some point before the season is over. With that being said, I'm very surprised in the 2 weeks we've been off the air. Well, personally, not the show. We have still not gotten a season 9 renewal. What is taking ABC so long? I mean, I believe they renewed the 911, so I think that's good to go. I think that's the only news that dropped since I've been away. I know that takes a while, but still at the same time, it's still very much there is still things that we need, and the Rookie. I understand everyone's on can we realistically make a TV season work? Well, I understand that takes some time. I do. I even understand as we talked about in the last episode review, that there might be some reconfigurations, and what does that look like? Who knows? I mean, again, I trust the writers. I do, and I am very confident that they will find a way to power us through somehow. And I think, honestly, that's the best thing we can just wait on. As we are now officially in the second half of the season, we are just kind of waiting and seeing how does thing kind of, reflect. But with all that being said, with all the background about us and the show's renewal to the actual episode review, I thought this was a great review episode. I thought this was a very nice, for the moment, a different style of shooting an episode. It still felt like the Rookie, but at the same time, it felt like something from a different genre, which I think, again, as we've talked about in 7 and 8, even throughout the original seasons, they have delved into the idea of demonstrating episodes a little bit more differently with the camera, with the focusing, and normally I really don't talk about any of that, but once in a while I do, because this is something that I kind of relate to as a child. I don't talk about this that often. I don't even think we ever, in my 12 years on YouTube, I don't think I've ever, actually, my about 11 years. I don't think I've ever talked about it, but yeah, zombies have had a very impactful period of my life, whether it was the 28 blank later series or the Zombieland series. They have an effect, and this kind of reminded me a little bit of that. Was a bit of a nostalgia trip, whether or not I was the target audience for this type of episode, whether it was for a different time. I thought this was really good. I think this pushed selective storylines forward, not resolving anything too quickly, introducing some, which again, you are in the second half of a season. You do need to kind of, when you're kind of long in the tooth, again, not in a bad way, but just in general, when you have a very rare opportunity to tell a lot of episodes, you kind of do, you can't really stretch anything out that you start in episode 1 all the way to episode number, well, in this case, 18. There's very rarities for you to do that without, like, really having to come up with things on the fly. This being one of them, we're like, yeah, no, a couple things are continuing and a couple things are starting up, and I'm very curious to see what does that impact on our characters, what does that mean in the story, and in general, are we able to kind of, continuously, continue as a result of it. But with all that being said, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. And again, I do apologize. Even now as I'm talking, I do feel there's a little bit of weakness in my voice. So I'm not 100% back to normal. I'm just back into a workable capacity. So if I do apologize if I take a lot of tea breaks this episode, because again, hot tea does soothe the voice. So that is what I will be doing this week, and hopefully not burning myself again on camera. With that being said, we begin with a very weird opening. It's somewhere, it's some sort of facility. We see a man being attacked by other people, and that was it. That was the impact. We wake up, Nolan's in bed, alone. It has been a bit of time. Bailey has returned back to DC, where she is now working in a office room, not a cubicle, but a room, but it kind of feels like a cubicle. And where she kind of, loads a little bit, like, yeah, today's not really the best day of her job. This is one of those, like, days you kind of need to get through before the exciting stuff happens. And of course, obviously, as tradition, she wakes up when Nolan wakes up. At least so they're at least together for at least a couple minutes. Nolan's about to begin a long shift, and Bailey is just, chilling in her office, getting ready for a day of meetings. And the two are, again, like, Nolan is, again, still feeling the reins of, like, missing his partner, and then also missing just the day-to-days that he used to have with her when she was present in the house. We cut over to, I believe, Lopez and Wesley, where Lopez is getting Wesley ready for, not a debriefing. I forgot the terminology for it. It's when like a witness is being sworn into testimony, and it requires both lawyers to be present. And of course, it's a very touchy subject, considering the fact the Glassman case has not gone the way Wesley has expected it to be, considering the fact Harper's comments during the last sit down kind of upended the case a little bit, and now this is kind of his only chance to do so. But again, he is a mentally ill patient, so trusting his judgment 100% is, again, there's a lot of room for error, and so he's very much like focused on that. And also his lawyer counterpart, who is running as defense for the case, is also, again, very optimistic that, like, things will not go in Wesley's way today. I believe that was everything for the setup. Oh, no. I do remember one thing. Gray is, again, living in the hotel. He has not resolved anything with Luna since the last episode. And lo and behold, he walks into the office early in the morning, because that's what people that are, they got nothing else to do in the morning, to just go straight to work, just try to, like, kill the time a little bit. And while he's there, Luna is there, of course. Luna's just wanting to talk, try to get this resolved ASAP. It's been a couple days since their last conversation, and Gray's like, there nothing really is to talk about, because I made what I believe the solution is crystal clear. If you are not willing to comply, I don't believe there's anything we can talk about. And Luna's like, it's not that easy. Again, you also expect me to believe in the 20 years we've been married, you never once looked at another woman. And Gray's like, he doesn't deny it, but he also said, like, yeah, but it's not to the point where, like, it's jeopardizing my marriage. Which, again, I guess Gray can also, like, vehemently side with that as well. Where, yeah, Luna is taken back by it. She does understand his point, but at the same time, it's not as easy, because, again, Luna does have genuine affection for the man. It's not deniable. And it's something that, she doesn't want to jeopardize her job for. She worked a lot to get back into the career field of her choice, to, like, actually sit down and like, get to work again, to really do something for herself after a long time. And okay, that's just part of it. Like, she can't not, like, just do her job without that component, because it would be sacrificing the quality of it. And as much as, like, a realistic person, that would make sense. Again, Gray also makes sense, where, like, you're pushing yourself into these situations where, like, the more time you spend with him, the more you might end up damaging our marriage. And again, it might end being a much more larger conversation, and Luna is now ready to take that. But again, Luna's just hopeful that Gray will see reason and kind of drop this. But again, Gray does have a point where like, yeah, unless you are going to quit your job and never see that man again, then I don't believe there is a fair solution for anyone. Which again does make Luna a little bit more saddened because again, this is not what she was expecting. Then we go into roll call. Everyone sit down, ready to go for the day. Sadly, however, there has been nothing of the sort all night. No activities, no crimes of major follow-up, nothing for the morning crew to deal with, nothing. And Bradford's like, yeah, I don't like this at all. This definitely means something is coming. It just means that they were taking the night to prepare. So this shift today is what matters as we kind of prepare for what the day might be ahead. Before Nolan can head out for his solo day, the kid from the last episode, also the kid from the season 7 finale, the drone kid shows back up. Apparently, he is taking a class and he requires B-roll footage, and he wants to ride along with Nolan. Hopefully, they can get some raw, real footage of LA's, like, you know, the streets of LA. And Nolan's like, well, I technically do owe you my life, so I'll accept it, but keep in mind that I'm not swaying away from like big calls. Like, we are just strictly doing whatever comes to the shop, but you are just mainly a ride along. You're in the car, point A to point B, and that's it. I believe from there, it's pretty kind of off key right here. I know Wesley and the other lawyer immediately get into the interview with the man that Glassman was kind of trying to be his fall guy in case the time ever comes for him to like ditch the whole thing and like kind of, you know, go on his own merry way. And honestly, the interview does go pretty, in a rare case of it, pretty perfect. The man is very mellowed out, very zoned in, answering both Wesley and the defense very honestly, very like, you know, neutrally, that both sides can't even gauge if it's like a victory for their side or a victory for the other side. It's honestly probably one of the rare perfect interviews ever. And, you know, even though it does touch upon some very touchy subjects, especially for the defense saying like, yeah, let's take a break because he realizes, shit, this man is perfectly cognizant my client's going to lose 100%. It's not that. It's very rare for that to happen. I believe from there we go over to, where do we go from there? I believe we cut to, they're in the vehicles, they're getting ready, Nolan making conditional for this film that he does not want to be on camera. This is not meant to demonstrate cop work. This is just merely for him to get very much B-roll footage of LA, and that's it. They get a call in that apparently Westview Hospital had a check-in last night, and no one responded back, so they're doing a wellness check on the facility. Nolan was immediately about to do his solo with the kid, but Harper and Miles goes to pick it up because Harper's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me go back to the place that kind of essentially began the downfall. Not the downfall, the current status of my career. So let us go. So the four of them arrive at Westview, immediately thinking this is just going to be like, oh, maybe they just forgot to check in. That's it. But they immediately find one of the inspection vans, and they find a dead body right next to it, who's been there overnight. Nolan immediately goes to investigate while Miles and Harper also back him up and immediately like, yeah, this is kind of weird. Like, no one should already be here. Like, the only thing that should be here is the fumigation team just to get the demolition workers in a safe and sound position before they demolish the whole facility. But before, however, they can even approach that, and even the kid goes outside to like start taking his B-roll footage. A bunch of people in the fumigation gears just start rolling out the doors, rolling out the buildings, immediately chasing them. This is like a scene from 28 Days Later. In my opinion, like, you know, okay, I haven't seen them filmed since I was a kid. And I want to express that. Yes, I saw those movies as a kid. And I have not seen 28 Years Later. That's not on my film roster right now. But again, the way this is just like a little bit of a reminder. It's not like zombies. It's not like that, but they definitely are mindless. They start attacking everyone, even the kid. They eventually start like getting swarmed in numbers. They immediately try to run into the nearest building, but sadly the kid does get separated from them. And as a result, now they're kind of screwed, because also another thing I forgot to mention is that in the area, they do not have any radio communication. The airways are dead, which I'm like, well, that's freaking wonderful. Now they're literally trapped in a zombie movie. So now they're kind of, screwed in the pooch on that one. The kid turns out to be all right for the moment. He decides to use his opportunity of freedom to kind of like explore the facility, kind of like looking at the sites, getting chased by every random, zombie as we call it. But these zombies are a little bit like weirder. Like they respond to noise, but they respond to like it's very like quick fire. Like it's not like Dead Set where like they see them and like they're very much on the thrill of the chase with this one. But yeah, the kid apologies. The kid continues to get himself into these situations, even to the point where like he drops his glasses at one point while he's trying to find a way to get inside the building. Nolan, Harper, and Miles regroup and try to just assess the situation. Nolan will go after the kid because that's his responsibility, and Harper and Miles will go and try to find a way to contact back headquarters to get backup on this one. So they split. Miles just seems like to be in a horror movie. Like he just literally walks down a hallway, and next thing you know, he sees this like very creepy doll on the floor. It's not even that funny. And then he's also like stumped by a zombie, like looking around the area. Like again, like shout out to the cinematography for this episode. It really does help out with these scenes. Like really delivers it. Nolan continues to go outside. He does manage to find the glasses, which for context, the kid is like hiding out in this weird merry-go-round that's on the property, and I'm like, why is that on a mental facility? I really don't know. It's probably just there for shits and giggles. He accidentally activates it, and that kind of swarms in some of the nearby zombies, and Nolan also to his location. Harper is also looking around, trying to find any rhyme or reason to this entire situation. She does run into another dead body and another zombie, this time knocking her out completely before she's getting swarmed by even more zombies and being locked into like what I assume to be the industrial area of this facility. Nolan does eventually find the kid after doing like a 1v3 takedown. They, unlike Harper's case, they're all knocked out for good, and they decide to like continue to head off to regroup with the others, and hopefully that they were able to manage to maintain contact with them as a result. I believe eventually, I know Miles eventually goes back to the shop, gets weaponry, and like gets swarmed by more zombies. Now he's equipped with a shotgun, but the thing that they found out about it is that I don't know how exactly they found out about this. I'm just speculation for my own speculation's sakes. There was probably like an open chemical that has a hallucinogen, and they absorbed it enough to now they're at the point where like, yeah, now they're like mindless. They have no connection to their senses, and now they're acting like this abrasionally. So I know Nolan and the kid do regroup up with Harper. They're just trying to assess the situation now that they're like kind of, okay, we got half of the objectives done. Now we just need to find contact and get the hell out of here. I do know there's a really cool shot that I forgot to mention where this is what reminds me of the 28 days and then weeks films where we see like Miles running away with the shotgun and trying to get back into cover. And then you have the camera going over the tree, which again, I'm pretty sure this is the cut. I don't think they're the same exact areas, but then seeing Nolan, the kid, and Harper running away from the zombies too, that was just an awesome shot. I'm like, that was a cool transition. Shout out to them for that one. And then from there, I believe eventually they start speaking about like, when the hell is backup coming? They've been gone for such a while. They should have already done the check-in. Where, yeah, Bradford does get the call and sends out Lucy and Selena, which again, for the half the episode, I was just like, damn, are we just not going to get the other people in this episode? Like, that's kind of what it felt like here. But they respond. They immediately see some of the zombies. And they start to head in, again, not fully aware of what the situation is. But however, as soon as they go in and they only got to fight one zombie, they eventually get swarmed by all the zombies, or majority of them. And they split up, sadly. Lucy heading the downstairs approach, and Selena decided to take refuge in a nearby closet supply that she will barricade herself in for the rest of the episode. Lucy does head out, which, again, Lucy, I understand you're trying to get to safety, but what in mindset do you have to go for a basement, a creepy basement that has had bad history in your station? Like, again, why? Why, may I ask you? But yeah, she heads up to the basement, and again, I will give kudos to the scene where, like, this is one of those rare things, like, I kind of wish I did watch this live, because not knowing next week's episode, it kind of would have increased the intensification that, like, is this one of those random moments where, like, we lose someone. Like, again, we're talking about it. And again, I know people are going to be like, oh my God, they finally got Chenford together and now they're going to kill off Chen. And no, she doesn't die. But it is a very well done scene where, like, it reminds you, like, despite it being a TV show, yeah, there are realistic moments where, like, yeah, this could happen. And then, yes, there could be a moment where, like, had she not taken the right actions, she would be dead right now. Where she does take down one of the zombies, but then afterwards another one comes at her with more raw strength, having a knife in his possession, ready to kill her. However, again, Lucy, fight or flight mode, decides to hit the knife back into him, killing him as a result. And again, her being traumatized again, like, you know, not only just having to deal with zombies, she also nearly died. Again, like, I know, like, this is not the first time she's nearly died, but again, like, the last time was like a slow torture attempt. This was more like, this could have been quick and painful. This would have been. And the guy is, like, bleeding out while presumably he is starting to return back into consciousness as Lucy's watching him, like, the life fading from his eyes. Again, not knowing the full context of the situation, but again, she took a life at the end of the day. So I believe from there, yeah, once Bradford hears the raid, which I'm like, a little bit of a biasm, then like, okay, Nolan, Harper, Miles, like, not paging in after almost an hour. Yeah, no, don't worry. Let's just send one unit. As soon as Lucy gets into trouble, send everyone. Get the whole fleet out there, which I'm like, damn. That is, I guess, what the reason why they say, like, you know, never did your superior. So I believe from there, oh yeah, I completely forgot about the random C plot. And again, I know people are going to say, ha, you admitted to it, which I'm like, I'm sorry. It was just, this is setup material. I was more focused on the zombies. I completely forgot this was a thing. So during the episode, Bailey gets a call from Gray. Again, randomest character interaction happen off screen. I think this is the first time we see a actual real conversation between them. That's not a joke or anything. Gray is following up on the armed plane incident we had with Nolan Cars a couple weeks ago, and the guy that was masterminding it. There was a contact in the government that he was working at, but however, when they tried to, like, at least peruse who's on the other end in the government, they, again, similar to the whole other one back from season 3 and season 3 and season 4. Yeah, that's something that, like, they will set off alarms if they decide to broach that. And with Bailey already being in DC, they decide to go for it, which I'm like, how coincidental that, again, this is why I said trust the writers. Like, everything is connected. Like, again, what does it 100% make sense considering the fact that, again, Gray is on an FBI task force, Bailey's working for the government, this is supposed to be a cop show. I 100% understand that argument, but at the same time, these are our characters, and you got to put Wesley on the blast too, because we are getting the law side of it as well. So from there, I want to say, yeah. So Bailey goes into it. She'd like, that was the shots from the trailer, so that completely completes all the footage from. So it was from the first 10, which again, impressive the fact we were that far deep into the season to allow that much footage to be used for a trailer. So now going into episode 11 and beyond, we have no footage up. So that's amazing to go into those episodes blind, so to speak. She does go into the corridor. She goes on the floor. She does find the door, but the door is not marked, unlike other doors in the facility. She knocks on it a few times. No one responds. Bailey decides, well, I guess no one's home right now. So as she's leaving, someone does answer the door. There's a clear tattoo mark on her arm. And obviously, she's just trying to, like, bullshit her way out of this. Like, saying, oh, yeah, no, I'm here for the colonel. Like, they told me this is his office. Can you help me out? What unit is this? And the lady's like, none of your business. Not here. Go away. Traditional stuff. But again, the tattoo kind of really set up some alarms in Bailey's head right now. As she pages back Gray, tells him that, yeah, this is the thing. I'll send you a thing of the text. And however, sadly, on her way out of the building, the lady that answered the door from before starts looking into Bailey. So I'm like, great. Will this end well? I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest with you. But thankfully, Bradford comes in with the cavalry. Everyone takes on the rest of the zombies, manages to put them down, getting everyone back into safety. Of course, Bradford beelines it for Lucy, who's in the basement. Again, like, still shocked, still out of it. Thankfully, no other zombies came to to get to her. Bradford again like kind of sees the situation and realizes that she did kill someone in self-defense, of course, but again, she still killed someone, that you have to follow procedures on this matter. And again, she's not there. She's mentally like kind of not broken, but like she's just like she's in for a spell right now. And Bradford just goes from like caring boyfriend to like now watch commander, like asking him her questions, making sure what is her current state of mentality. Like, once we get through this original clearing, then I'll take it to the hospital, get medically cleared, and then we will go back to the station together, and you'll talk to Nolan. She's just answering things basically very tame, nothing too crazy. But again, it's clear that Zay she's not present. She's not there fully. Bradford takes her away to go to the hospital while Selena kind of cleans up the mess behind them. We get to the hospital. Obviously, Wesley kind of arrives thinking that Lopez got in trouble, but no, Lopez is fine. Harper, they get minorly battered. Lucy is, of course, like really battered, but again, everyone is alive and safe. Thankfully speaking. But yeah, from there, so I believe do they meet up in the hospital? I I distinctly remember there was another thing, but I think no, it was a phone call first. That Wesley and Lopez were catching up on the day, but Lopez, they want to tell him that like, hey, your client, the one that was the witness today for the testimony, sadly there was an incident. His caregiver was killed, and he has relapse. So Wesley's like, what the hell? Everything was going well. This was just perfect. Like, what the heck could have happened in just a few hours? And Lopez is like, who knows? And while Wesley was coming into his office just to close out for the day, he does find him with a broken piece of glass, all bloodied up. How the hell did he get all the way from that property all the way to the office? I don't know. I tend not to ask, but he heads over there, tries to calm him down again. It could be similar to Lucy. Touch and go. Could this be the end of Wesley? Thankfully not. Wesley does manage to calm him down and try to talk some sense into him that like, just be careful, man. Like, it's not you. Obviously you're having a moment, but we can still rectify this. And thankfully he does understand Wesley, and he does put down the glass. Cops already were in the area, so thankfully they were managed to enter into the scenario very calmly and very safely. Though, of course, Lopez does have some choice words for Wesley of like getting himself into the situation, but Wesley's like, I chose the best approach for this possible. And everything worked out. But now the concern is that how did we go from like mentally sane and sound person to killer in less than 12 hours? And then conveniently, it's like, well, again, not to point finger, but like the lawyer clearly knew if this testimony was into record and nothing happened to the sword, then this would have been a case over against Glassman. But now that this happened, like definitely there is a bit of cause for concern that like he may have some ulterior moments to play. But of course, obviously the pair are keeping their words in check as they just let him know that like, hey, I may be a lawyer, but my wife is a cop. So again, please be very wary on your next decisions and make sure you cooperate as a result. Other than that, everyone else regroups back in Mid Wilshire. Nolan does commend the kid for another, again, kind of getting out of him his a life-threatening situation again. But again, now they're officially even and they can move on. But something tells me the kid will not be out of the picture yet. I have a feeling we will see him again. Harper does give some condemnation to Miles for surviving this incident without much issues. Definitely despite it could have been a commando situation. They could have just killed them all and call it a day. They kept it to an acceptable minimum, and now they can move on forward with the training program, which again, not a compliment, just a good job, you didn't fuck up type of thing. Gray comes in to check on all of them and lets Nolan know, get changed and get ready for whatever, because he will be needed for Lucy, for the union rep check-in. And we get Lucy in a weird... I keep forgetting this is the same thing that happened to Nolan back in season 1, but like she has to get photographed. Regardless if she will get clear or not for this, it is still very much an IA investigation. It's still very much... she still murdered someone, even if it's for self-defense. It is something that she has to go through, and again, it is a very troubling situation to be at. Because again, like... she did nothing wrong. She was just responding. But again, it is what it is in this case. Nolan, thankfully, who has been on the receiving end of this before, is very respectful and just very much like, let's get for point A to point B and we'll get you home. Which he does promise so. She gets back home, all comforted up, teed up, And Bradford's like, look, I'm here. If you need me, take the time you need, and we'll go from there. And Chen's like, yes, but I do need some time alone right now, as she starts to cry on the couch, reflecting the fact that even though, again, this was not done with malicious intent, she still killed someone, and that will probably leave an effect on her life moving forward. As that was it for this week's episode of The Rookie. Like I said at the top, I thought this was a great episode to go for. I think the zombie angle, which was a reasonable one. I don't think it's the first time they've done a zombie-ish episode. I believe I could be wrong before, but yeah, for sure they haven't done this. But this be more like a close quarter, like very limited resources, very limited manpower, 28 inspired setup. I think that was a well done job to like kind of differentiate this, going back to Westview, using it in a different capacity. I think makes it a very fun episode as a result. Not like, the life or death stuff of it, but just still an episode that's like more like they're being experimental. They're like trying new ways to be able to kind of like grasp what the formula of it. Lucy getting a huge traumatic moment out of this, not what I expected. I was expecting a completely different episode, to be honest with you, because again, I haven't watched the previews, I haven't watched any of the promotional stuff, so I'm like, I go through these episodes blind, to get my genuine reaction of it. And again, I knew something was gonna happen to Lucy. I just thought it was something different. But like, again, like the fact that she nearly got killed by a pseudo zombie, and then now her battle with it's not what I expected. It wasn't. Again, with everything going on in the storyline, I don't think we needed another Lucy storyline right now. Besides, like just her accepting her new role as sergeant, as well as for Tim's Tim's girlfriend. But like, yeah, not what I was expecting, but definitely does open the doors for like new things to come of it. Gray's progression, again, like, is it going to be the slow dance? Is it going to be the slow burn of a divorce? I don't know, to be honest with you. It can go either way, to be honest, at this point. And as for Bailey, again, it was only a small tidbit. We only got literally 2 scenes out of it. Will that lead anywhere? I don't know. Again, is that supposed to tie in with the larger Feds connection this season? Again, I really don't know. I really don't. But honestly, again, I trust the writers. I believe they know what they're doing. And I look forward to seeing what may come of it next. But seriously, ABC, let's get season 9 on the roll here. Let me confirm my schedule. God damn it! You know they're gonna renew. Just what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? But with that being said, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know down below. What did you think of this week's episode, or this episode of The Rookie? Did you love it? Did you like it? Let me know down below. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. I do apologize if my voice spreared throughout this entire episode review. I have done my best to keep it in check, but sadly, it is the end of the road for the time being. I definitely overused this in a much more longer capacity than it's used to in the last couple weeks. But again, thank you so much for watching. This has been Joe here for What's to Do, reviewing every single episode of The Rookie's 8th season. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's to Do besides our Rookie episode reviews, right now we are also doing Matlock episode reviews, each and every week after brand new episodes on CBS. Coming up will be the next Matlock. We are going to be doing Rookie Matlock until we kind of get back all situated as a result. So stay tuned. We will be back with more. But if you only care about The Rookie, we will be back. I don't have a date. I don't have a return time yet, but we will be back. Do not worry. Yeah, we are still 2 episodes behind after this one gets uploaded. But again, we will do our best to catch back up as early as possible. So thank you for your patience right now during this time. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media for more. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.